Well, the top 20 Wolfpack holding serve after 2 rotations, and Ashley Knight with the strong vault routine, taking us into that turn. And well, Sydney, it feels like you move into that floor and beam side of things and the entire competition amps up.
Yeah, that's a really good point to call out. You have your events like vault and bars, but then you've kind of got to reset and have a different mindset going into beam and floor. Beam's a little chill, like you got to come down a little bit, whereas floor, you've got to get back amped up. So let's take a look at the beam points of emphasis. Dance and acro skills, the connections, we're going to see some leap connections, some acro skills, and then the balance aspect of that. You want to look confident and just reassured up there. Beam is a make or break event, so again, it's really important for these athletes to be in the right headspace.
Lily Lippett, the sophomore out of Ohio, she leads the way in so many events, and it's important to get off to that hot start.
She starts out with that front aerial to that back handspring swing down. That's one of those connections that we're talking about. And something to remember is they don't start from a 10-0. They have to build the bonus to get to that 10-0. That's through the connections we're talking about, through the dance and acro. And so far, she's looking really solid throughout the routine. She's gonna do that side aerial connection right there. Looks like she's just gonna have her full turn here and then a dismount left.
ACC newcomer of the year last season.
She does a really difficult front full. Looked like she had a mishap on that landing, but did a great job covering it up. Again, that is a front landing, which means it's blind, so a little bit more difficult.
And we swing over to floor, where NC State ranks 17th. This is their best apparatus.
Really important to be able to emphasize on your best events. Know your strengths, and then also your weaknesses. How can you improve and get that 1/10 better? We hear Coach Landris talk about that 1% better each day in each competition.
It's the junior from Chapel Hill to kick things off in Adler. For us, this is the most fun because it's right in front of us. We really get to experience it.
We've got the best view here. Starts out the routine with that Rudy to straddle jump. Love the height she got on that. Those types of passes are really hard to control sometimes because you're so high up in the air. Just like we mentioned on beam floor, you also have those leap and jump connections like she did right here.
Adler with 4 consecutive 9-8 or higher scores here on floor.
That's a really impressive stat for your leadoff as well. We talk about the leadoff spot. One of the most important, so being consistent and getting those consistent scores as well is really impressive. Last pass here, she does the front full to the front layout, no problems there. Really nice, solid start for this NC State floor lineup. You can see these tumbling passes again. She does that Rudy, which is a front 1.5. Does a nice job blocking and has that air awareness perfectly straight on that straddle jump too. Again, that's really hard to be able to control. Then she does that front full, is able to rise on both the front full and the front layout. Nice routine.
So now the athlete gymnast that so many have come to see, Bree Clark, will close it out on beam and floor.
She's so fun to watch because she has so much power. And power's hard to have on beam. Perfect example, she does a standing front tuck. You do not see many of those in collegiate gymnastics.
Started her career at Utah State, followed Coach Smith.
She does that back handspring back layout. Some wobbles right there, so that's gonna be a deduction, but let's not forget the balance beam is 4 inches wide. I've said it before, I'll say it again, it's the beam, your iPhone is wider than the beam. Whew. To put that in perspective.
Lippett's score has come in there at a 9-7.
Getting ready for this dismount here. She does another front 1.5, nails the landing. So again, we saw a wobble that's gonna be a deduction on that acro series, but she makes up for it throughout the rest of the routine. Take a look here. The power she has, back handspring, back layout, is able to land it, and looked like her foot was just a little bit off there, but is able to save it. And then again, the height and the bounce she gets into that front 1.5 with that stick.
So moves back over to floor, and the sophomore from Colorado, Ellie Hadrick, season high 9.85. There's what Adler comes in with a 9.85 as well. So that'll tie a season high for Adler.
A 9.85 from a leadoff is the exact spot that you want to be in as a team. Floor is always such a fun event because the athletes are able to show their personalities through the choreography and all the dance. She starts off with the front layout, front 1.5. Nice landing there. Also, doing the choreography and the dance when you're at an away meet is a little bit tougher because you don't have your regular fans or the fans that you have at home. So you really got to rely on your teammates to be able to pump you up throughout the routine.
Meanwhile, that wobble cost Clark 9.675 there.
Last tumbling pass here for Hadrick. It's gonna be a 1.5 to a front layout. I liked how she was able to get the height on the 1.5 and still was able to punch and get the height on the front layout as well. Those combinations sometimes can get tricky with the timing, but she did a nice job. You can see right here, she does that front layout, then bounces up to that front 1.5. Looked like she had a little bit of directional issues, but could be hard to tell from the judge's angle. And then that 1.5, that height, and then bounces into the front layout for a nice floor routine.
Well, thus far, NC State competing like the top 20 team they are, as the freshman from Arizona gives it a run. Danica Nielsen has 4 consecutive 9.8 scores here on beam.
I love the elegance in her dance. The toe point that she has all the way through the straight legs. That's the execution that we talked about in the points of emphasis and what the judges are really looking at. Getting ready for her acro series here. Back handspring, back layout. That's a triple series. We don't see too many of those in collegiate gymnastics. It's very difficult. She made that look really easy though. Cat leap into the side aerial combination as well. Nails that.
9.8 comes in for Hadrick.
Just has the dismount left, right here for this beam routine. Round off 1.5, gets the stick. Wow, nice routine for Clemson. They're pumped about it. We'll take another look here at the acro series, one of my favorite parts of the routine. 1 back handspring, 2 back handsprings, and then into that back layout. Having to stay straight on the beam for 3 acro skills in a row is very tough.
And perfecting the chest bump as well.
Yeah, that was a nice chest bump there.
So now we see the grad senior out of Pennsylvania, Krista Zoltovich. She did not compete on floor on Saturday against Pittsburgh. She brings something out of her back pocket here.
I do love watching her floor routine. She has a lot of power. We're gonna see a lot of height throughout this tumbling run, starting with the first pass. She's gonna do a 2.5 twist to a front tuck. And every time she does it, It is sky high. Take a look right here. 2.5. Bounces into the front tuck. The facial expressions too, another thing I love.
.9825 for the freshman Nielsen. That's going to set a career high for the incoming Clemson Stars. Wolfpack have stayed so steady, haven't they?
Yeah, they've done a great job, like I mentioned earlier, just being able to build off of each routine. It's not easy to come in to a big environment like this. It's not easy to be on the road either, so they really seem like they're staying in their bubble and doing a great job, just not being bothered or fazed by anything. Huge double tuck to finish the routine. Really nice job on both of those tumbling passes. They're gonna be happy with that floor routine. Can see right here, we talked about that 2.5 twist. Watch the height that she gets. Right here, 2.5 twist, and then bounces. Again, the timing from one skill to the next, it is all about the timing. You've got to make sure that you have that air awareness. She had no problems there, and then does that huge double back. Does a good job with her chest, popping the chest up at the end. The judges want to see that controlled landing. It's okay to take that lunge back. That is okay. But more than that is where the deduction's going to come in.
And a sophomore beam specialist from North Carolina's Sierra Church. Career high 9.925 last season as the event winner against North Carolina.
And if you look really closely, you can see her talking to herself, which some athletes do that. I always think that's so interesting and cool. Might be their cues, it might be them just calming down. But starts off with the back handspring, back layout acro series. Love how sharp she is in those finishes. Just portrays a lot of confidence. She does that switch leap to split jump. On these switch leaps and on these split jumps, or any jumps, the judges want to see the 180-degree split angle there. Side aerial, another split jump. She is on fire right now with these skills, and she is moving through it so gracefully. We'll see if she can stick this dismount she has coming up. Taking a couple breaths right here before gearing up. She's gonna do a round off 1.5, and she gets it, an exclamation point to that routine. She's gonna soak that in. I love that routine, just beautiful throughout. Take a look here, you can see that back handspring, huge height on that back layout, drops right into it. And then my favorite part of the routine, that 1.5, opens up and is able to spot that stick. You can see Coach Smith in the background, really excited.
Meanwhile, we saw the freshman Ava Myers exhibition over on vaults. She'll compete as the 4th gymnast here on floor following Zoltovic's 9.725. You'll notice that Wolfpack howl to start so many of these routines.
Yeah, it's really fun when you can incorporate your school into some type of floor routine or choreography. She starts out with a huge double tuck. Wow, almost didn't even need that lunge.